Welcome back to the Crypto Wise channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today's video we're going to be talking about virtuals protocol, looking at the bear market bottom targets. Also going to do a quick update on Bitcoin and what's happening there. Welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, we focus here on macro technical analysis and facts in the charts so that we can have clarity and easy decision making in the crypto market, laying out the highest probabilities based on chart patterns, confluence, and indicators. No news, no hype, no narrative, just cool, calm, and focused. Let's get into it. So if you have been following my channel, and let's start with Bitcoin first, and then we'll get into virtuals. So if you follow my channel, you've been updated on Bitcoin and the fact that we are in a bear market. And I was expecting more downside even before the I think when I did my first video, the price was sitting around 80k, 84k, somewhere around here, maybe here, somewhere in this area, expecting big downside. Maybe a little bit before that, I'm not sure. I'd have to look at it again, but I had been warning people this entire consolidation that we were in a bear flag and we're going to see a big move down, which we got. And I've also been warning you in the last couple weeks that we're basically seeing a repeat of the previous drop. And it looks like we're getting our confirmation. So I did talk about that in a few videos. This one here, also this one here, Bitcoin's best buying opportunity. This one here, Bitcoin to 74k, then big crash. And then also talking about a crash in March, which started, but most of it's going to be in April, looks like. So timing sometimes isn't always perfect, but you know. So yeah, structurally with Bitcoin, we are in this consolidation, right? This is a bear flag, okay? Bear flags are very simple, right? Strong move down into a consolidation that looks like a rectangle or a triangle or something. And it makes a flagpole. There's the flag, there's the pole, and then this whole thing here is the flag. And what that does is it's just indicating continuation down, which we got here, very strong move down. And now we're seeing another one, which means the highest probability at this point, based on the structure, that when we break down, which we're just about to, looks like, this trend channel, we're going to see a strong move down. Right, and the measured move price target is down here, 48k. So I'm expecting to see that still. Let me just remove this here. And one thing that we have for a confirmation is on the RSI, which I don't talk about this too much, but I want to share it with you guys today. We have a leading indicator that we're going to break down here on the RSI. These three-ish touch points, well, you could say like that. So we had three touch points, 1, 2, and then this flat spot here, that's 3. Then we had the breakdown confirmation, the back test, now we're lower. Breakdown of the RSI, back test, and lower. So by this point, it was already showing that this uptrend on the RSI broke on this candle here, right when we bottomed there. So by then, on the daily, we were already, this whole RSI trend had broken, which basically means the momentum is negative. And the momentum is basically a leading indicator in this case. And when it breaks like that, it usually follows big moves to the downside. On any time frame, and on the daily time frame, that means that there could be a big move, a quite substantial move to the downside, like we saw here when this broke the uptrend on the daily RSI, which was this candle here. We saw a big move down, consolidation, and then a lot further strong capitulation to the downside. So we might just be right now in this sort of chop zone, because typically what's common is that we see the price action kind of battle the lower zone before it actually breaks down properly. So we could be around here for the next few days. Also because there's a full moon, so the full moon sometimes has I think it's on the 1st, so we might be kind of held up by that energy a little bit because full moons usually hold the price up. But I mean, if we're breaking out of bear flag, I don't think a full moon is going to hold it down, to be honest. We could see something like this though, where we just chop around here for a bit and then down we go, right? So either way, at this point, I would say we're going to see it. We're going to see this bottom out in mid-April at this point, because we see once we broke the RSI in this past, we can give us a range here by measuring. When we broke the RSI downtrend here, which was on that candle there, it took us 17 days. Actually, it would have been the following day. 18 days. It was just after the daily close. Yeah, because we went a little further and came back up. So it would have been Thursday? Maybe it was Friday. I don't know. It wouldn't have been a full Friday because it came back up. Let's just say it bottomed on 17. I'm not sure how to calculate that in my head, but we'll take the earlier one. 17 days from when the RSI broke the downtrend. So from when we broke the downtrend, I'd have to measure it two different ways. So we broke the downtrend on this day, 17 days, which would push the 7th of April. But we also had a back test and then lower, so I'd take it more from the back test breakdown, which would be that candle. So 17, and I would probably take it to, I'll just take it to 18. So mid-April, I think would make sense. It might take a little bit longer depending on how this plays out, but mid-April would make a lot of sense. Bottoming on a new moon, which has happened before. That's what happened here. Right, see there's a new moon and the price bottomed on a new moon, so we might just be in this phase here where there's a full moon energy. You know, maybe we break down into it, we get a pullback, and then we get the big move down. So it could be a little bit longer of a drawn out situation here because we get a full moon. So potentially we get a little bit of down, we come back up, we chop around, and then we roll over finally into the new moon. Anyways, that's what I'm suspecting at this point, the way it's playing out. Yeah, so that's the update. Still expecting down. I don't think this train can be stopped at this point. So yeah. And all right, that's the update. Virtuals is different, very different of a coin. It's new. So we look here. We have May 2024 is when it started, and it had a quite substantial big increase from Monday the 16th of September 2024 all the way to the 30th of December for a 17,740% move. And not every coin does that, right? So that happened during Bitcoin price discovery. And Bitcoin price discovery at that time was basically this move. This move. A lot of altcoins did very well. That's when XRP had its big rally. That's when XLM had its big rally. That's when HBAR did 800%. There's a lot of altcoins that did well there. Well, select altcoins, I should say. If you look at the entire thing, it's more selected altcoins that did well. There wasn't actually that many, to be honest. Some of them way underperformed. When there's altcoins that did 600-700%, there's some that only did 120, 130%. So a lot of underperformance in the altcoin sector for that move. But nonetheless, virtuals, because it was new, it did a very substantial rally. So this is where choosing a coin early can really be helpful. The structure here looks really nice. We have something that's been holding up its lows here. So we have the bull market top, which was at the end of that rally. A lot of coins, that was their high. The Bitcoin price discovery initial move up. It's usually where altcoins really take off. So I'm not surprised to see that. But even from that swing high to this April low here in 2025, Virtuals came down 92%. Very common, typical to see a big move down, but this was kind of like a mid-cycle correction, almost like a mid-cycle bear market, because those are usually bear markets for altcoins. And it had one before Bitcoin topped, which is very interesting behavior, because Bitcoin topped over here on October 6th, and in virtuals October 6th, it was in this downtrend here. It was around here just before it had this spike down, and then it actually completely recovered that, and then some, which is rare, right? A lot of altcoins, when they had this capitulation down, they actually didn't recover that. They just kept going down, right? So, you know, plenty of coins, like HBAR is one of them. If you look at my other videos, you'll see. But it would have just been something like this, back up, and then just work its way down like this. Although virtuals happen to be holding up, right? So it's structurally different and stronger is what I'm seeing. So structurally different and stronger. And what we have is basically a coin that's holding up very well. So I think that whatever this project is doing, it's definitely got some demand. So this April low, the fact that it hasn't even challenged it again, I mean, if you discount this scam wick, it hasn't challenged this low yet. It's pretty incredible, because Bitcoin actually broke its April low. It's over here, right there. It's at 74,300. We're actually trending down, and that level is a level that is a major resistance level, which we tapped a few times. I've talked about in videos that it was going to get there to back test before we go down. And yeah, virtuals did not challenge that, so it just shows you structurally it's holding up. It's holding up, even though percentage change is quite dramatic. Structurally, it looks strong. So why that's important is because I don't see a major pattern that would send it down below this level, this box that I've drawn. So yeah, so let's get into that. Where do I think it's going to go? So first of all, one thing that is important to note here is that we have this, the structure is corrective in nature. The entire thing is corrective. So it basically means that, well, it's possible that this is the ultimate low here, but I'll show you why that might be challenged here, maybe briefly. But all of this choppy mess to the downside here, for example, is corrective. And then we had the scam wick, and then it bounced back up, and we broke above the channel. So the corrective to the downside usually follows by a push up, which it did. And then we had a corrective to the downside again, very choppy, messy, a pull up. And then we actually had a not a capitulation, but this was the bear flag from Bitcoin, the first bear flag over here, this one. Sorry, this one that just played out. That's what this was, right? And now it's been in this chop it to the upside, which is corrective to the upside, which means it's more bearish, which I would suspect a bigger drop this time based on that, based on the way it's set up. So I do believe that we would see a stronger drop to the downside. Let me see if I can see this. Yeah, so the 3-day, it kind of looks like a bear flag still. Not the best one I've ever seen, but it's okay. So we have the measured move price target. If we count it as a bear flag, we put at the point of the top inside the flag. So you take the pole and you put it inside the flag at the top, or the highest peak, basically. And then there's your measured move into this box at 33 cents. So, and that 33-cent move from that swing high to that swing low would be around 59%, which would mirror the previous drop from this swing high in January on the second bear flag that Bitcoin made, it did about 61%. So very close. It would make a lot of sense that this gets filled out, and we see that get challenged, this level here. So, and often these wicks get filled. A lot of these wicks get filled. If I zoom out on SUI, for example, that wick was this one here, and it definitely got filled. As you can see, it's already way below it. This is why, in comparison, Virtuals is holding up pretty well structurally. And there's plenty of other coins, like I think HBAR already filled it. And there's a few other coins that I'm watching that have been, filling that up. So another reason it would go down there is this is a whole support zone that would make sense to see some strong demand and a bounce. So anywhere between here, the April lows, and this here, which this structure here, these candle closes here from November 2024, it's right around 43 cents. So right around that level is the first support level. If it breaks through that, we should see some support inside this box. So I would suspect this box to get tested because of that wick and because of the demand there, and that's basically the last line of support. Whether it happens in this one drop, which it could, it should, based on the way it moved in the prior bear flag. Right? If it doesn't, if for some reason it bounces here, maybe it gets another drop later and fills that on a wick, and then it chops around before we go up in the next bull market. So I do expect this downtrend to be broken based on how this chart's been moving and showing us. So yeah. If you're conservative on getting an entry, I would say this zone here at 43 cents is a good place to get some orders in. And if you're patient and you like to wait and, get best possible entries potentially, this box is likely to get tested. So that's between 35 and about 30 or 29. Yeah, 29.5 and 35 cents. This is where I believe the bear market low will be for Virtuals protocol. Now these other lines here is just timing of the market. Basically, I think it's possible that we see this bottom within this time frame. That we see the price action bottom on this next move to the downside between the 10th of April and the 15th of June, depending on how this plays out, and or when Bitcoin historically bottoms in its bear market, which would be over here between 7th of September and end of October. So beginning of September to end of October. This is where would make sense for Bitcoin to bottom. So we could see this chop around a lot. It could come down, back up to here, and then another down like that before it decides to go up, especially if Bitcoin sees another low. Remember, altcoins act a little bit differently than Bitcoin. They don't always follow Bitcoin exactly, especially that they're down quite a bit. They do like to bottom a bit early, so it's something to consider. As we've seen with XRP bottoming in June. Just watch my XRP video and you'll see what I'm talking about. XLM bottoming in June also of 2022 instead of in October, which is when, November, which is when, I think it was November of 2022 when Bitcoin bottomed last cycle. So yeah, highest probability, I think, bottoming somewhere in this zone here and potentially a second tap in this area here. So if you're patient, you could wait for Bitcoin to bottom and you'll see how it plays out. Or if you want to get some orders in, possibly a really good area here. All right, that's good. I think that covers everything for now, and hope you guys liked the video. If you guys liked the video, subscribe, like, share the content. 10, help the channel out. Yeah. Alright, guys. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.